Mr. Johnson, you say the defendant, Mrs. Carr, has been playing an emotional DNA game with you over her daughter's paternity for the past 18 years. You've brought her to court to finally end this game and prove you are not her daughter's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Mrs. Carr, you say that Mr. Johnson has been dodging a DNA test and his responsibilities as a father since the day you told him you were pregnant. You claim the only reason he is denying her is because you are married and will no longer sleep with him. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Johnson, what upsets you the most about this?
The lies, the up and down roller coaster. 1 minute I'm not her father, the next minute I am. It's been a burden with this paternity, you know.
Ms. Carr, you say this is not true, what he's saying.
Your Honor, Mr. Johnson has always acknowledged my daughter, and he has always attempted to be in her
Your
life.
Honor, that's incorrect. When her daughter was first born, her father came to my house, sat me down on my couch, and said that they had a DNA test with another man, and I was not the father. He was the father.
Take me back to the nature of this relationship. You all used to be boyfriend and girlfriend?
No, ma'am. My uncle married her auntie.
Okay.
And they adopted her. I used to go over their house and help him out, like cutting grass and things of that nature, and I would stay the night, and they would allow us to sleep in the same room. We had sex one time.
Okay.
One time. It was a lot of touchy-feely before, and the one time we had sex, it was, you know, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
It's not true.
Yeah.
Well, do you agree that you had sex with him just one time?
I agree that we had sex on multiple times. We have had sex more
And at
than
some
one
point
time.
you realized you pregnant?
Yes, ma'am. At the time I was young, I was just coming on my menstrual, so this was still new to me. So it was brought to my attention that my menstrual was late or it had not come on when it was supposed to. So I was taken to the doctor and later on determined I was pregnant. I then called Mr. Johnson and told Mr. Johnson that I was pregnant. And Mr. Johnson's response was, I'm going to Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, right, I was moving back to Dayton, Ohio at this particular time. Family members were there. It was an emotional day, but she gave me a call. I'm pregnant. Do you think it's yours? Wait, do I think it's mine? Do you think it's mine is the question. You know what I'm saying?
We never had the conversation about, do you think it's yours? It was just, I'm moving to Ohio.
Your Honor, I remember this conversation verbatim. You hear me?
So...
Like, this is something I cannot forget. Well, I remember the whole day like it was yesterday, crying and snotting. I told my family member after I got off the phone with Miss Carr, I could have a baby on the way.
Your Honor, nobody else in the family knew about him being a possibility until I had her on the delivery table. That's when I told my mom.
And then, once you had the baby, what did you do? Did you call him back and try to
I did not call him. I did not pursue him. I had a boyfriend at the time. And
So
Mr. Johnson was aware of my boyfriend.
Was the father of the child.
All right.
Dad came to my house and told me they got a DNA test with somebody else. So I moved on with my life. What else am I supposed to do after the head of your household comes to me and tell me
that's not true.
that, you know what I'm saying, y'all got a DNA test? What am I
Okay, so let me understand this. At that time, you had a boyfriend.
I did tell him. I pursued it with him, and it went nowhere.
When you say you pursued it with him,
right.
What do you mean?
When you pursued it with the other guy, what did that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean specifically?
She told him he was the father. That's why they came to my house 2 years later and told me they had a DNA test with another guy.
There was no DNA test.
So
there was never a DNA test.
When you found out that you were pregnant, you told Mr. Johnson and you told the boyfriend.
Yes, ma'am. I left that part out. I apologize.
Okay, now this is coming together. So you got the boyfriend and you told both.
I told both.
Mr. Johnson said, I'm moving away. So at that point, when the baby was born, you still had your boyfriend, right?
There was no one involved, no one. No one's name went on her birth certificate.
So how did he get excluded from the equation?
No one was involved.
And you never did a DNA test with the ex-boyfriend?
We had a DNA test within the last 3 years.
Wow.
Me and the other father.
And you did not know this, Mr. Johnson?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
Mr. Johnson has been active in her life periodically.
At one point in time, after her father came to my house and said that I wasn't the father. I moved on with my life. Maybe about 5, 6 years later, I had my first daughter. They see how I'm interacting with her, and so I guess they say, this is your daughter now.
No, this is not true.
Let me tell you, I seen the daughter in a grocery store. She runs up to me. She run up to me, like, Daddy. I'm shocked at the moment, like, what the, wait a minute, Daddy. When I tell you I'm looking for cameras to pop out, I thought I was on a prank show or something. Like,
How old is she?
She's about 5 or 6 at this time.
Your Honor, this is my first time ever hearing this story about the grocery store.
Okay, so let's hear it.
She run up to me like, Daddy, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, okay. Hey, I want to say I'm not your daddy, but I can't tell this little girl this, you know what I'm saying? I recognized the family members, so I just assumed this was Miss
her.
May. But I'm confused as to why she's calling me daddy. So I'm asking for a DNA test. Like, no, you can't just say that she's my daughter without me getting a DNA test.
So what happened when you requested the DNA test after the run-in at the grocery store, Mr. Johnson?
It never happened. So about 3 to 4 years later, I move in with a family member that they are close to. And Miss May is constantly interacting with these family members. So she comes to the family member's house, and like, your daughter is coming. Like, this is not my daughter.
That is untrue.
Can I finish my story? I said, I need a DNA test.
And
all the family like, no, she's yours. You don't need to get a DNA test. And she looked like another family member when she was younger. And so I'm just full of emotion. And so against my better judgment, even without the DNA test, I started accepting Miss May as my child. I know that I need to get this DNA test based on what they told me in the past. I'm full-blown father now. Birthday parties, clothes, school clothes. Your Honor, I donated plasma to have Miss May a Hannah Montana birthday party.
How old was Amber at this point?
This was her 9th birthday, her 10th birthday. I'm full-blown father. You know what I'm saying? I'm full-blown father. I'm school clothes, shoes, everything. So maybe like
if you're a full-blown father and you're throwing birthday parties, what brings you to court today? You still have a doubt?
I got a phone call about a year or 2 later requesting the DNA test.
It's not
why?
True, Your Honor.
Now, after I'm full-blown father mode, why get a DNA test now? Why not when I asked
I want
for one?
the answers to both of those questions. Number one, I want the answer to why, after all that time, he's doing birthdays, he's showing up, he's a daddy. Why the DNA?
Again, he's not communicating with me, and I always find out about things after the fact.
And so you didn't have any idea all this time that Mr. Johnson had been stepping up and trying to be a father to your daughter?
That is false.
No, man.
At that point in time, I stepped up.
The way he's been
She had one. He did one birthday party.
Yes.
One.
Facts.
How old she is?
Facts.
One.
This is
Okay.
facts. Yes.
You're right.
One birthday. And who are you?
Four.
Okay. I don't even know. I've never seen this man a day in my life. You know what I'm saying? Who are you?
All right. You know, there has been a lot of talk about Amber, and I personally am ready to meet her because I want to ask her myself what is going on. Jerome, will you please escort Ms. May into the courtroom?
Yes.
Hi, Amber.
Hello, Your Honor.
What memories do you have of Mr. Johnson being in your life?
Memories with Mr. Johnson. My 10th birthday, he threw me a party at the water park. I remember that. And then there was the time from summer after 5th grade. I remember that day because he made me stay in the house while all my cousins playing outside.
There was a lot of boys out there. She was the only girl.
I was not.
And so when's the last time you saw Mr. Johnson?
Last time I saw Mr. Johnson was the 5th grade summer. It was probably around 2010.
So you have not seen her or laid eyes on her?
No, ma'am, and she's extremely beautiful.
Yes. Ms. May, what was your understanding as it related to your paternity? What were you told?
I was told by family members that he was my father, and they would show me pictures of him, and they was like, oh, you look just like him. And so I was like, okay, that's my dad. And growing up, my mother had told me that he was a part of my life, and so I don't have that many memories with him. Like, there was this time I called him on the phone. I asked for a birthday present. He gave me a false tracking number, and we was all waiting for it. I was like so excited to get the present, and it never came. So I just forgot about it. And
did you give her a fake tracking number, Mr. Johnson?
I may have, Your Honor. At the time, I probably had got the phone call to take the DNA test, and I told Mrs. Carr that I'm not doing anything else until we get proof that this is my daughter.
We never had that conversation, Your Honor. We had a conversation when I went through the court system and pursued him for a DNA test and child support, and he sent me a text saying that it was screwed up that I did that. But this was during the same time as the tracking number and the gift that he had promised her.
So when you requested the DNA test, he never showed up?
No, he did not.
And so at that point, your desire to pursue Mr. Johnson was to collect child support?
I just wanted a DNA test once and for all so that I could quit hearing, I don't know if she's mine, or, you know,
right.
I didn't want to hear that, because one moment you're her father, the next moment you're not. It gets really confusing.
I mean, it is amazing to me how much you all were doing. You did everything but get a DNA test. I mean, everything. And now, Amber is the one who's hurting.
At the end of the day.
Thinking you're her biological father, and you only showed up for a birthday party. And I mean, Amber, what was that like?
Well, after Mr. Johnson left me, that's when the man I call my father, Mr. Carr over there, that's when he came and stepped up and took his place. And so all these years I was like, okay, so, you know, he doesn't want to spend time with me. And so I recently got in contact with him and over social media and asked, are you going to come to my graduation, or are you going to lie and say you're coming and then not show up?
Yeah. I have copies of text messages.
Jerome, let me see that, please.
This is not the whole conversation, but it's just the part that really stood out.
She said, what, you don't want to talk to your firstborn that you abandoned?
Because he asked to contact my mother. He has told me to tell my mother to call him.
And so you said, I did abandon you. I take responsibility for my actions, but it's a lot you don't know. And then Amber writes back, well, I'm of age. Please enlighten me, Brandon. And then you say, you may not be my daughter. We were supposed to get a paternity test about 4 or 5 years ago, but your mom never went through with it.
Correct.
And when you reached out, all you wanted was your biological father and the man you know to be your father figure in your life. You wanted them to be at your graduation.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Johnson, if you are her biological father, would you like to go to her graduation?
Gladly. I would love to. It's hard on her. You know what I'm saying? She's the number one being hurt out of this. You know what I'm saying? But I got feelings and emotions tied up in this as well. I done missed out on a lot. They deprived me of the chance of her falling in love with me for the first time. They deprived me of seeing her first steps.
That's not true,
They deprived me of her first birthday, father-daughter dances. They deprived me of a lot of stuff, too.
Your Honor.
You have an opportunity to tell him.
All right.
I felt like you could have gotten in contact with her. You could have, but you didn't try. And so that doesn't make me feel like you wanted to be with me. Look, it's over with now.
It don't have to be over
It's
with
over
if you're my daughter. You know what I'm saying? We can build from now forward. You know, we can't ever get back to past. It don't have to be over if you're my daughter, Amber.
We're here to get you the answers, Amber, you deserve and you need, and we have those answers for you. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Johnson versus Carr May, when it comes to Amber May, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Johnson, you are her father.
You knew that the whole time.
How do you
my
feel?
parents.
How do you feel? Absolutely, honey.
Okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
We came here for a beautiful young woman who deserves to know who her biological father is. And now we have that answer.
Yes, we do.
And I am so thankful that you have Mr. Carr in your life, and I'm so happy that your mother has been there for you. Every girl needs her daddy, and you've been blessed with two. You have two men who love you very much, and that's a beautiful thing. Mr. Johnson?
I just want to apologize to Amber first. I'm extremely sorry. I love you. I will be here for you from now on.
Mr. Salinas, you claim your doubts surrounding the paternity of 2-month-old Lily are warranted.
Yes, Your Honor.
While you admit to a drunken night with the defendant, you don't believe her child was conceived that evening.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Cantu, you say Mr. Salinas has never even met your child and now needs to grow up, stop partying, and step up to be Lily's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Salinas, why do you doubt Lily's your child?
Because we only had sex one time.
Without
It
protection?
takes one time.
Without protection.
Well, you know that's all it takes. So I need you to give me a little bit more as it relates to your doubts.
Well, the night we had sex, I invited her out. She didn't come through. Went out with some friends, had some drinks. Later that night, I hit her up asking if she wanted to hang out. So she told me to come by, and we talked, we messed around, we had sex. That was it, just a one-night stand. The next day, she woke me up, told me she had to go to class, and she also told me that she was off and on with this other guy. So, you know, I just took it from there,
Ms.
but...
Cantu,
Yes, Your Honor.
so you had a boyfriend, but you slept with Mr. Salinas.
Well, what happened was Mr. Salinas had messaged me asking to want to hang out and whatnot, and I hadn't seen him in over a year. When we first met, whenever I moved to Corpus Christi, we were kind of in the same lifestyle. You know, we both liked to party. We were both young. You know, I was in college, and that's kind of what you do. You experiment with that. And as time went on, as I was getting closer to finishing my college career, that kind of faded, and I really didn't, you know, party anymore. So I didn't really hang out with him as much. A year goes by, and I decided to hang out with him because I hadn't seen him in such a long time. We ended up having sex. He knew about the guy that I was on and off with for about 3 years, the whole time I was in Corpus. So, you know, I was on and off with him. At that time when me and Mr. Salinas had sex, I was not in an exclusive relationship. So I did not cheat on anybody.
So when you woke up and said, I gotta go to class, what was this he's talking about? And by the way, I have a boyfriend. What did you actually say to him?
I don't remember saying, oh, and I have a boyfriend. I do remember telling him that I do have class because I am in college. And, you know, I kind of had to get things going. I didn't want to do nothing, just lay around all day, you know.
And so, Mr. Salinas, you maintain that she said she was dating somebody.
I understood that she was off and on through her Facebook and everything like that. So I just didn't take anything, you know, too serious.
Because the truth is, you believed she was also intimate with someone else during that time.
Yes.
So, Ms. Cantu, were you afraid of getting pregnant at all? You didn't use protection with Mr. Salinas?
Well, Your Honor, the day after, because I did realize that we had unprotected sex that night before, the day after, I did the responsible thing and I went to go take the morning after pill, you know, just assuming that it would work, and I went about my day, you know, went to class thinking that everything was good. Just because, you know, I wasn't in an exclusive relationship. I'm young, it doesn't, you know, people do it all the time. And, you know.
But
so,
you understand that there are STDs?
Yes, I do understand those things, yeah.
There is the potential that you could make a little person. Mm-hmm. Mr. Salinas, truthfully, I understand your doubt. If she slept with you unprotected for the first time, she's probably sleeping with the other person without protection, and therefore there could be doubt when she turns up pregnant.
Well,
how did you actually find out she was pregnant?
I got on Facebook one day and I saw her comment saying that she was pregnant and...
On Facebook?
Stay there.
This is your evidence?
Yes.
Jerome, will you hand that to me, please? So wait, after this day, this night you had together, you didn't talk anymore, or you were still talking?
No, I didn't. We just had sex. We didn't talk anymore. I understood that she was kind of on the rocks with this other guy, and I made it clear to her that I didn't want a relationship or a commitment till I was 25 or 30. So.
All right, so you went your separate ways?
Yes.
Until one day you're on Facebook and you see this post.
Yes.
And it says, "It's about that time for my special news. I'm going to be a mommy. My precious bundle of craziness will be here on June 2nd.
It wasn't until I had went to my doctor's and had my first sonogram at 9 weeks, and that was from that picture right there, that I had found out the exact conception date.
And what was that?
That was September 8th, and that was the exact same day that we had sex. And so I had also went back, and I told the doctor, you know, I took the morning after pill, and he had told me, well, if you've already ovulated or if you're in the process of ovulating when you take it, it won't work. And I have the proof to show that I did that research too, that the pill didn't work because I was ovulating.
Let me see your proof. Thank you, Jerome. It indicates that the morning after pill may not be effective if you're ovulating.
Or
and
if you have,
you contend that that possibly could be what happened in your case.
Yes, Your Honor, I do. I believe that that's what the possibility is, considering the fact that me and Mr. Salinas had sex on the exact day that the doctor said my conception date was.
How close to the date of conception were you with your ex?
It was still in that same time period. I'm not sure if it's within those 3 days. So
during the window of conception,
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had a DNA test for your ex?
No, we haven't. We haven't had a DNA test from my ex. He denies the baby, and he told me that he didn't want anything to do with her, that it wasn't what he wanted or needed, and that I needed to take care of it.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So, Mr. Salinas, why have you not tried to get to know Lily, been there for her, if you know you're a real possibility?
Well, when I saw the message or the post on Facebook, I immediately messaged Miss Cantu, asking her if there was a possibility that I might be the father, and she said no. She said that she had taken the morning after pill, that she'd been having intimate relations with this guy before and after we had sex.
Your Honor.
And that's not how you remember it?
No.
What do you remember?
I remember it specifically this way. He had messaged me and he asked me, do you think that the child that you're carrying could be mine? And I said, well, to tell you the truth, I didn't think you were at first, because the day after we had sex, I went and took the morning after pill. However, after talking to my doctor and they did the math and found out that my conception date was the exact date that me and you had sex, so you are a possible candidate, and plus the morning after pill isn't effective if you've already ovulated or if you are ovulating. And so I told him that he does have a possibility of being the dad.
Why do you think he refused to see Lily?
He always said that he didn't really have the means to do that. He was working at that time. And so it kind of doesn't make sense to me that if he knew that there's a possibility that he could have been the parent to this child, that he didn't put money aside to, you know, possibly seek out if this is his child.
So how far away from each other do you live?
Well, we live 3.5 hours away, and after doing some research, I did find out that basic bus fare is less than $100 to do that. So if you had a job at the beginning and you knew that, you know, eventually you're going to have to go there, then $100 really doesn't sound like much to find out if you have a child. And
not much when there's a beautiful little child. Mr. Salinas, $100. You couldn't pull that together to go up and see this child?
At the time, I really couldn't afford it. I had a minimum wage paying job, and I was out doing my music, and I still really wasn't sure if she was mine or not, and I didn't want to put forth the effort and taking steps to see, all for nothing, so.
So with this minimum wage job, you still couldn't save up $100?
No, I didn't have that job for very long.
Have you thought about Skyping, FaceTiming, anything to get to know this child? I just don't understand how a child comes into the world that possibly could be your child, and you can't find $100 to go up and see the child. I don't understand it. So you've never seen the baby?
No.
Never. And the first time you ever lay eyes on this little girl that could be yours is on a picture in my courtroom.
That is correct, Your Honor.
I mean, just look at her. She's beautiful.
She's beautiful, but I don't know if it's too early, but I still don't think that my features have come out in her. She looks a lot like her so bad. And I never even seen what the other guy looks like.
When you look at her, you see no resemblance.
I mean, if I try, maybe the eyes and the nose, but I still don't know. After she told me she took the morning after pill, she was in a relationship with this guy, and then months after she's pregnant, while she's pregnant, she comes and visits me and tells me I gotta change my life, I gotta stop doing the stuff that I'm doing, stop having fun, and I just didn't really feel like, I guess, taking those steps to see all for nothing if she wasn't mine.
And so it just wasn't worth it to you to make a couple of adjustments. I mean, because let's be honest, if it comes out today that you're her biological father, you're gonna be able to live with the fact that you missed all this? I'd like to hear from your witness, Ms. Cantu.
Okay.
Please stand, ma'am. State your name for the court.
Carla Cantu.
Ms. Cantu, you are
I'm her mother.
her mother. What do you know about this?
I got a phone call from my daughter letting me know that she was pregnant. And
So when she told you she was pregnant, did she also tell you there were 2 possible fathers?
no, she didn't. She did not tell me. She told me later.
So, Ms. Cantu, were you ashamed? Were you embarrassed?
It wasn't necessarily that I was ashamed. I found out I was pregnant October 3rd. A week later, I had told my mom because I was literally, I know how to approach my mom, and at the moment, I didn't have health insurance. So the next day, I went and applied for health insurance. I was trying to get all my ducks lined up because I knew that I was going to be taking on this responsibility, and I wanted to make sure that I was prepared before I even presented this to my mother. And so, you know, a week later, I call her and I tell her, and at that time, I still didn't consider Mr. Salinas a possible candidate because of the fact that I had taken the morning after pill. I hadn't seen my doctor yet to know about the factors about me ovulating and it not being able to work and whatnot.
So that's the long answer for no, you didn't tell her.
Right.
You know, she didn't tell me because she knew the type of person I was. She knew how hard I had worked all my life to sacrifice to give them everything that I never had, you know, so that they could grow up to be those, you know, perfect kids that I thought. So here I was thinking I was doing the right thing, and they never got to see that.
And so you feel like as much as you tried to be the example and be a professional woman and do the right thing for your kids and take them to church and give them everything you possibly could, you feel like the one thing you didn't give them is an example of what a healthy relationship is and what a woman operates like, moves like within a healthy relationship, so they could model that. Because do you believe that there were esteem issues or something going on with your daughter that led her?
Absolutely. I think there still is self-esteem issues. I think that she was searching for that love. And I think that there's a lot of girls out there that are looking for that love, because there's a lot of single parents raising children these days who tried to do what I did, thinking they were doing the right thing, probably did what I did. So I'm the first person that
You did the very best you could.
Right.
And you know what? Your daughter loves you for it. Thank you for your testimony. You may be seated. So, Ms. Cantu, what are your hopes today?
Well, Your Honor, I really do hope, you know, this is not about me. This is not about Mr. Salinas. This is not about my mom. This isn't even about anybody in this room except for my daughter, Lily. And she deserves to know who her father is. She deserves to know who her father is, because I know if she's anything like me, in the future, she's going to want to know. She's going to go searching for him, because she's not going to feel complete or whole until she knows where she comes from. And so I hope out of this, you know, if Mr. Salinas is the father, that he can step up and take responsibility. But not only that, but also look at this as a serious thing, that it's not just, you know, I look at kids nowadays that are just like, oh, I get to dress up my baby in nice doll clothes. You know, this is a serious responsibility, and you know, and so I
Mr.
really,
Salinas, what are your hopes today?
I actually hope she is my daughter.
You do?
Because if she's that other guy's, I feel bad for her because he don't.
You said because if she's that other guy's, you feel really bad?
Yeah, because he don't want to be there for her. If she's mine, I want to be there. I have a loving family to offer her. They would accept him with open arms.
Jerome, I think it's time for the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Salinas versus Cantu, as it pertains to whether 2-month-old Lily Cantu is the biological daughter of Mr. Salinas. Mr. Salinas, you. In the case of Salinas versus Cantu, as it pertains to whether 2-month-old Lily Cantu is the biological daughter of Mr. Salinas. Mr. Salinas, you are the father.
Awesome, dude.
Well, I think that says it all. You said awesome.
This is awesome. Great day.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Ms. Torry and Ms. Henderson, you have both entered the court today with cases against the defendant, Mr. Goodson. You have joined together because you, Ms. Torry, claim the defendant is denying he is the father of your 2 kids. And Ms. Henderson, you state Mr. Goodson refuses to take responsibility for your 4-year-old daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have both asked the court to award paternity tests and enforce his financial obligations as a father. Now, Mr. Goodson, you claim Ms. Torry has admitted that she cheated on you in the past, and she is also not confident that you are the children's biological father.
Yes.
Although you are actually hoping the test proves that you are.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Additionally, you state Ms. Henderson slept with you and your cousin in the same time frame, and therefore you can't be sure
Which was a lie.
her daughter is yours. Please tell us about your story.
My story is that I went on a chat line one day, and I met his cousin on the chat line. And he know that so far, when we met on the chat line, I was just looking for friends, someone to hang out with on, you know, a regular basis and smoke and drink. So one day he came to pick me up in a white car, a white truck, bumping music all loud or whatnot, or whatever. He in the back car, like, looking at me like, ooh, he wanted me or whatever. So we went to go take some drinks or whatnot, listening to music. They recording music, they rapping, and I'm singing on their songs or whatnot, having fun. So after that night was over, he dropped me back off at home. An hour later, he come calling me like, what's up, baby? I'm like, who is this? He like, this chubby. Oh, you don't remember the dude in the back of the car? I'm like, dang, why you calling me? He like, I think you cute.
Okay, watch the language now. I know you're giving it verbatim, but you know, it is court.
Okay, I'm sorry. He like, shoot, I think you cute. I'm like, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Then we just got to talking. Then next thing you know, he like, shoot, baby, can I come see you? I'm like, yeah, you can come see me. What's up? So he came to see me in a Stolo, which they call down in St. Louis. It's a stolen car. So he come picks me up in the Stolo. And I'm getting dressed or whatnot, and I'm looking out the window. He like, yeah, boo, I'm outside. Next thing you know, here come the police like, freeze, get out the car. I'm like, really? You came to pick me up in the stolen car? Really? Right.
I don't know nothing about that.
Wait a minute. You don't know nothing about it.
I don't know nothing
I
about
believe
it.
because one day his mama said he stole her car to come and see me.
Oh.
Okay, this is, I can't believe you sitting up here talking about he came to pick you up in a stolen car.
That's what he came to pick me up in. I didn't ask him what he was going to come pick me up in, but he came to pick me up in a stolen car. I'm about to go out the door to go get in it like a dummy.
That's because she wanted to get away from my cousin, so I had to go.
Why would you talk to him if you know your cousin was talking to him?
Because he don't care.
No, because she left my cousin for me.
So,
But you calling her.
listen, I want to get past the stolen car. I want to move forward because obviously this relationship heated up from that's what's up, yeah, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so whatever. Whatever's going on.
We was young, dumb.
Right. So it heated up. You all became involved sexually.
And sexually. After he got out of jail from stealing the car, he called me. He called me like, can I come see you or whatnot? And I'm like, yeah. He came to see me again, but this time it was with his Caucasian homeboy and his son. And so I hopped in the van with them. We went to their house.
Did you check the registration?
No. I didn't check the registration. So we went to go kick it or whatnot, and we all got drunk again and smoked again, and that was the first time we first had sex. After that, we was having sex for a year unprotectively.
Did you have sex with me and my cousin, though?
No,
That
I
would
never
be
had sex with your cousin. Never.
Unprotected sex. Okay.
Unprotected sex for a year before we broke up. When we broke up, the only reason we broke up is because he called me on the phone saying he getting some sex from some other female in the background.
He called to tell you?
He called to tell me. I'm like, really? Like I'm supposed to just sit here and listen to it.
Did you call her to tell her this?
No, Your Honor. I didn't even know me and her was supposed to be together. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
you
I
thought
said,
y'all were just kicking it like
I thought,
friends.
yeah, you know, so like she
You
said,
gonna
we
have
just.
unprotected sex with me.
I'm
And
saying,
then
but-
call
Hoping
you.
that I don't get pregnant for a year.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, at the time, she was a little bit older than me or whatever, so I liked it that she was older.
And you lied
she was
about his
working.
age, first of all.
Listen, I never lied about her age.
Oh my God.
But like I was saying, she had a little bit of money. I didn't have no money. I couldn't work at the time. I was a little bit younger than her. So you know what I'm saying? The money what kind of got me into liking her and what was messing
That's
with
all.
her. So I really kind of
between
wanted
me
the
and
money
her.
and a little bit of, you know what I'm saying, you know?
So what I'm
money.
still trying to understand is, even if you didn't think you were in a committed relationship, what woman that, you know, you're sleeping with this woman, you're in some type of sexual relationship, wants to get a call from you saying that you're having sex with somebody else?
Right.
She never got
I mean, he did me
She
the
never
same
got a
way.
call.
He
You
did me
never
the same
made
way.
that call.
No, man.
Okay, so he's
He's
saying
so
that's
high,
a
so
lie.
drunk, he don't remember what happened.
From time to time, I mean, I have done that with
All
Andrea
right, so
before.
Miss Henderson, you're pregnant, and you say to yourself, what?
I'm
This-
pregnant, then it might be his because at the time that I was with my boyfriend, I was messing around with him.
Key word, boyfriend. I wasn't even around.
You was around, you always around. You just was over my house last month.
So, Mr. Goodson, do you believe you're the father of this child?
I mean, it possibly can be.
But your statement of the court says it could also be your cousin.
Yes, yes.
I'm almost afraid to ask, but the boyfriend is not the cousin.
No.
Okay. Let's bring your cousin in, Mr. Thomas. Jerome, if you could go get Mr. Thomas, please.
On the inside of it.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Thomas.
How you doing?
Now, Mr. Thomas, we need to understand, what was your relationship with Miss Henderson?
It's just like a friendship, one night thing, you know how it be. Some nights.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna need you to repeat that
I said it
a
just be
little louder.
It's like a one night thing, you know how it be. Some nights you might get drunk, be with somebody, might turn you on, just happen.
Right. I
Okay,
never
so it was a
tried to turn you
one-night
on.
stand.
Yes,
So either you or your cousin, Mr. Goodson, is the father.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. You may have a seat. Miss Torry, let me go to your story.
Basically, me and Charles been talking for some years now. I met him through my cousin because she was dating one of his people, and he said he was looking for somebody to talk to. And basically, I was like at a locked up facility where I can only come out on weekends, and we ended up having sex one of them weekends. And ever since I had my son, he been denying him.
Mr. Goodson, just tell the court, what is going on?
Well, me and Andrea, I like Andrea very much, but I feel like she lied too much. Like, she lied.
I lied.
She'd tell me something, but she'd tell me like 6 months later or whatever. But then 6 months later, it's in the past or whatever. So
Okay,
I can't.
back it up. Or whatever. What is whatever? Give me specifics.
I mean, she'll go cheat, like she'll go mess around with somebody.
Have sex with someone.
Have sex with someone, and then she.
Oh, is that what whatever is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I get it. Whatever.
He lying.
Right.
Always lying. Continue.
Basically, she'd call guys in my face or whatever, and I used to call guys. I used to call girls in her face, like to make each other mad or whatever. So one day, I got in her phone one day. I called this dude in her phone, and then the dude answered the phone. He was like, we had changed some words with each other, and then he was like, yeah, this my son. That's why he was like, this my son.
Okay, watch your language.
I'm sorry. He like, yeah, this my son. So that was kind of really what made me wonder about her, like.
So you were in a relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you say she was doing whatever, right? Which means cheating. And then some other guy gets on the phone and says, that's my son.
Yes,
He
yes,
did
Your
that
Honor.
to make him mad.
So this was all a part of the game playing, Miss Torry.
Right, but I didn't know the dude was gonna say that.
But I also asked her for a DNA test when we left the hospital, too, also.
He ain't even signed a paper, so what are you talking about?
Did anybody?
No.
Those children deserve to have that empty space filled.
I know, because I had the same thing growing up. I ain't have a father, so I know how it feels.
And knowing how it feels, you understand the importance of today and being in this courtroom, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You have two kids that you claim he's not taking care of.
Right.
Why do you think he's denying?
Because look at him. He always, I don't know, he got insecurities. He been saying I've been cheating ever since we met each other.
Were you cheating?
No. I even got his name tattooed on my neck. Like, how can you cheat on somebody like that?
That's his name on your neck?
And
Yeah.
I also got your name on me, so tell them that.
Yeah, he got my name on him.
So.
But you don't trust him as far as you can throw him, and
I mean,
you
like,
don't
he do
trust
the
her.
stuff. He
I
do the
wouldn't
stuff
trust
in
him
my
either.
face, though.
When he was messing with her, he was messing with me.
Right, and now she pregnant. This might be his baby.
Right.
Hold up. I don't know nothing about that, Your Honor.
I bet you don't.
He lying.
Okay. Now, Mr. Goodson, I want to go to your mother. Please stand, ma'am.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Now, Ms. Anderson, please tell me whether or not you believe these children are his.
First of all, I don't want him to be like his dad, first of all. His dad got 17 kids, okay? And I'm here.
17?
17 kids, okay? I'm here to stop my son from going through all that. Precious, I don't know about her. I know the baby. And I think myself is mine. I think the grandbaby is mine. Charles, he need to keep his privacy in his pants, you know, first of all.
You don't think your son is making good decisions?
No, at all. He's not making no good decisions with his life at all. First of all, we're gonna start with these babies. When we bring babies in the world, then we got problems here. Because we got little kids that need a dad. And this is what I'm trying to teach my son, to be a good dad. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we're here today, to see if these kids are his, but we can take care of these kids. Not me. I'm a grandparent, which I'm supposed to just be here as a grandparent. But him, I want him to be a successful father, you know. And as a parent, I feel sorry for these girls right here, because I'm quite sure they knew what they was dealing with when they dealt with him, okay? Because first of all, he don't have a job.
I want you to take this opportunity, Ms. Anderson, and look at your son and explain to him why you're here with him.
He know why I'm here. He know exactly why I'm here. He think it's a joke. See how he laugh? He think things a joke.
So
but it's
tell
not a
him.
joke. It's not a joke, Chubby. We dealing with babies that's trying to see if you their dad, okay? Don't play. We ain't here to play, okay? You, Drill, you know better. You done had 2 kids by him. And I told you from the first baby that I help you raise.
I made a mistake.
Yeah, you made 2 mistakes. He wasn't even helping you with the first one. He didn't even have a damn job. So why would you have 2? And then on top of it, I go get you a pill that we paid $50 for, and you take back and had a second baby? Come on now, Drill.
Told her that wasn't good
Chubby,
decision.
No, you shut up. You shut up. You shut up. Okay, you shut up. When I see y'all on the internet, all 3 of y'all baby mamas, Okay, all three of y'all all on the internet
And this
arguing over a man don't even have a damn job and making all these damn babies like you crazy now if you got another one in there.
What about your son here? Because
he ain't you know what? He ain't no angel either, baby.
Thinking?
He ain't no
Or
angel
is he
either.
just
So the next
not
baby that
thinking?
pop up,
He's
you
not
gonna believe
thinking.
that when he say it's not his, you gonna believe him?
Point blank, what you say?
When the next baby pop up, you gonna say, "Oh, I believe you." If he say that
No,
ain't his.
we're gonna go get a paternity test. We ain't gonna go all through no 4 years no more.
But did I
We ain't going
not
through
say I
that
was
no
gonna get a
more.
paternity test for Layla? And you said, "Don't put him on child support. I got you. I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna make him take care of your
And
baby."
that's what I meant. Exactly
what'd he
what
do?
I said. When you
Nothing.
called me and told me that you was gonna put him on child support, I said, would you give us time? He don't have nothing. Quit having all these damn babies by him because he ain't got nothing.
All right,
Point blank and simple.
I have heard enough. Now, we're going to go to the results of these 3 children. And now, Ms. Henderson, you are pregnant right now, and you may be returning to this court to see who the father of this child is.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Jerome, can you hand me the envelope?
Here you go.
I'm on with this. I can't wait.
Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics in the case of Torry v. Goodson. When it comes to 2-year-old Charles III, Mr. Goodson, you are the father.
I knew that. I knew that any damn way.
In the case of Torry versus Goodson, when it comes to 4-month-old Dreon, Mr. Goodson, you are the father.
Huh? Come on.
Let's go to Ms. Henderson's results. Jerome, do you have the envelope?
Yes, I do. Here you go, Your Honor.
You gonna take care of your kids, Sugar?
No. Let's get married.
In the case of Henderson versus Goodson, and whether or not you, Mr. Goodson, or your cousin is the father, it has been determined that when it comes to 4-year-old Lazasia, Mr. Goodson, you are the father.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoa. I don't think I have to say much because your mother has said it all. Mr. Goodson, I don't know if you think this is a joke or whether you just haven't grown up enough to understand what it means to be a man and a father.
I'm gonna make a change from this day forward.
What you gonna do? You gonna help your kids? That's what I want you to do as a parent. That's why I bought you here, Chubby.
He gonna come and give her $1 on her birthday.
Now listen.
You know what?
Before you all start condemning him, I must say that 2 young ladies that I have to agree with Ms. Anderson sitting up running around with a guy with no job, nothing to offer. You're not protecting yourself, even if he's too stupid to know he needs to put on a condom. You all need to be smart enough to know it. And you do know it. So the kids are here. What are you gonna do? You gonna step up to the plate and get it right for the kids? You don't want your kids standing in this courtroom before me 15, 20 years from now, do you? You don't want that. You don't want this for your kids, do you?
No.
Get it together. Court is adjourned.